Welcome to Security Insights, where we talk about some of the big ideas circulating in today's security industry. I'm Margie Gurwin, and this is the last of a three-part conversation we're having about the convergence of physical and cybersecurity. Our panel of experts includes Bobby Varma. Bobby is CEO and co-founder of Princeton Identity, an innovator in iris and face biometric identity solutions, and a recipient of the 2022 SIA Women in Biometrics Award. Robert Schena. Bob is CEO and co-founder of Rajant Corporation, which pioneered the development of kinetic mesh networks. Since 2001, he has grown the company from a startup to a global leader that does business in over 75 countries. And John Nemerofsky, who is Chief Operating Officer of SAGE Integration and former president of both Stanley Security Systems and CGL Technologies. He currently sits on the SIA Board of Directors. So let's dig in. Bobby, we've already talked about how biometrics, and in PI's case, iris biometrics, harden both physical security and logical access. Are there reasons beyond security for why it makes sense to use the same biometric solution for verifying the identity of employees as they interact with their company's physical and cyber assets?
Yes, we are, beyond security, what we see is obviously there are convenience factor that exists, right? So now one of the biggest value proposition we have seen working with our partner regarding cybersecurity and continuous monitoring and around zero trust is now they don't have to remember passwords, right? You don't have to continuously log in your password or PIN code you have to remember. So again, the convenience around that exists beyond security. And obviously from an efficiency perspective as well, right? You're creating more efficiencies where now you have one data structure that exists, right? So once you enroll someone, either from a cybersecurity perspective, you employ a database, or from a physical security perspective, your database, you can utilize the same data structure and the same database for, imagine all the various different applications for logging in for your time and attendance or your financial models or your financial information, right? So all that can create efficiencies around just utilizing biometrics. And not only that, it will give you beyond the efficiencies, it will give you more visibility. You will get true, audit trails. You will get much better data that you can use for analytics, right? And of course, biggest of all is just the convenience aspect of it.
It's really interesting because I think there's a common misperception that the more you harden security, the more inconvenient you make it for your workers. But you're saying that with certain technologies, it doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it can be the opposite. So that's great news. John, let's pivot to you. You've told us that most of the clients that you're working with are already protecting their physical and cyber assets holistically. And for those who aren't, the burden is on integrators to help move the needle. What are the heaviest lifts for integrators as they face this challenge?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest challenges facing the integrator and thus their clients have to do with privacy concerns. With all the cyber threats, more and more clients have moved to cloud applications. So now the integrator is hosting access control or managing your access control, or hosting your surveillance system or managing your surveillance system for you. And with these managed services, there become a lot of privacy concerns which fall under that cyber category. So most integrators are challenged to get their SOC 2 compliancy or ISO 27001 compliancy to prove that they've got good process and procedure in place to protect this client's confidential information as far as video footage or access control timelines and who went through what door when or who was denied access at what point. So I think one of the biggest challenges is for integrators is getting that SOC 2 compliance because it's a heavy lift. It takes almost a year to complete. And then keeping up with it and making your clients feel secure that you've taken those steps with what you're doing with all of their private information.
That's great advice, John, which I can always count on coming from you. Bob, let's wrap up this conversation with you. Your company, Rajant, is an innovator in cryptographic technology, which is critical to protecting the systems running on your networks. Would you briefly share with us where you see the field heading and its implications for those in the physical security space?
Yeah, so for our development and our own cryptographic technology for different government agencies, there's now already a thrust within that level of cryptographic development, hardware development and software development, to be quantum resistant. So, that's a technology, quantum computing. I don't know that it's currently in use anywhere, but nevertheless, the various agencies we deal with are wanting us already to anticipate the threat of quantum computing, and are now requiring techniques and approaches to resist the implications of that type of technical attack. So, and already as well, we're being asked to think about and develop ways to anticipate AI-based probes and attacks. So, and those probes and attacks are going to be, interesting in their level of sophistication, because we're talking about, both the data side, but also the physical side. Your AI is going to be, can it spoof video? Can it spoof fingerprints? Can it spoof voice prints? Can AI be used to actually change your password, let alone find your password? So risks that were theoretical and maybe still theoretical for a short time are rapidly going to become real and not merely theoretical.
Wow. So with AI becoming more powerful every day and quantum computing on the horizon, we clearly need to see our security technologies evolve. If AI will be able to outsmart our systems and quantum computing can crack any password and decipher encryption codes, do you think there's going to be a return to more basic solutions that rely on less electronics and software, like good old locking keys?
I mean, it's really a fascinating thought, right? Is to kind of to go primitive, I think it would be the way to describe it. And I guess we're just going to have to see, right? It's technology once leaked out, is very hard to contain, and it's very unusual to go backwards. So I just don't really. I mean, what did Mark Twain say? The future is really hard to predict. It's just a fascinating time we're about to roll into.
Well, that's a lot to digest, and I can't think of any better way to end this conversation than with what you just said. It's a fascinating time we're about to roll into. Thank you so much, Bobby, John, and Bob, for taking time out of your busy schedules to participate in this panel. You've offered up some excellent food for thought for all of us in the security industry. For those watching, thanks for joining us. This is Security Insights.